Hello. With Hilda's Quest looming on the horizon, I wanted to take a look back at my tier lists and see if I thought, well, are things different now? Have things changed? I know that a lot of these were made before the Mistlands came out. I'm just going to be taking a look at the Ages tier lists and not the Dungeon tier list. So I'm looking at Bronze Age, Iron, Silver, Black Metal, and the Mistlands Ider Age. So, starting off, Bronze Age. This one is okay. It's a little weird towards the bottom. We have the axe above the spear, which I actually don't think is true. And you can see when I go to my following tier lists, here I have the spear above the axe in pretty much every single one. So, kind of silly. Kind of silly. Doesn't really make much sense. The spear still has range strategies. If you're very proficient in the spear, you're going to have a great time. The axe is pretty painful. It's just a slower sword, slightly more damaging, but even with all the modifiers stacked up, like backstab, crit, even with the new middle mouse from the Mistlands, it's still very much outclassed. And the spear, even though people like to joke on the spear, including me, spear is still going to be better than your axe. I would actually put it in a vacuum. I would put it above knife as well because of the range of it, the range of the middle mouse, that is. However, knife users are investing towards Skull and Hadi, which is totally different. It's got that faster two-handed thing. You could be super aggressive, super DPS, very good in co-op. And spear mains are investing towards just the Carapace spear, which is still a regular spear. Very good in speedruns, but these lists weren't in mind with speedrun tactics, the speedrun perspective. It also wasn't in mind with the cheap weapon perspective. I did make a cheap weapon tier list. Forgot to put the Spine Snap in. Obviously, Spine Snap's at number 1. But, yeah, otherwise, I've already made a video about that. I'm going to keep the speedrunner tier list potential for the speedrunners. So maybe Thread Menace Henrik will make a specific speedrunning weapon tier list someday. I don't know. I'll be looking out for that, and I'll leave that to them. Interestingly enough, everything else at the top looks great. Everything looks fantastic. Yeah, looks great. Okay, moving on, Iron Age. Let's full screen this time, just because I don't have to compare this to any other tier list to show the axe situation. This looks good. Yeah, this looks nice. Absolutely. Everything about this looks... one minor thing, actually. Yeah. Iron Sword. The Iron Sword. I've actually made a video about the Iron Sword. It's not very good. Like, you can go up and use, well, Stagbreaker or the Iron Sledge to ping silver in the mountains. Go up 120 meters or higher. That's when silver generates. You bonk the ground, and if you see a too hard message, and there's no obsidian around, because obsidian deposits also proc too hard message, well, then you have silver underground, and you can dig it up with the iron pickaxe, and then boom, you have early silver, at which point you can spend some of your iron and a lot of your silver and make a silver sword, which is just outright an outclassed, or an outclassing version of the iron sword. It's just better. It's just better in every way. It's, yeah, just the increased stamina cost doesn't matter in that case, because it's so minimal from iron to silver. So the iron sword, it doesn't have any unique properties. I made a couple of videos about the iron sword. Yeah, no. Iron sword should be moved way down. Battle axe should be moved way down for the same exact reason, because you can just go up and grab the crystal battle axe. Everything else here is great. Looks fantastic. Yeah, everything's great here. Nice. Alright, here we are in the Silver Age. Of course, what I'm doing for Ages, and I'm bringing up all of the iron stuff, which doesn't really have an exact replacement. So something super unique. Maybe there's no silver version of the At gear, so I have the iron At gear in here. There's no silver sledge. Add the sledge in here. And then the iron mace is pure physical, while the Frostner is a split between frost, mostly frost, and then some blunt. So I have the iron mace in here because it has a unique purpose, that and slaying golems. So this list, what do I have wrong with this list? Well, for one, I don't have the iron axe in here because that is a unique one-handed iron axe. It would still be in the outclass tier, just below the Fang Spear. Again, Fang Spear for speedrunning, that's going to be an S tier, not a speedrunning spear list. Tier list. Knife is good. This is great. All of this is good. Problem. Big problem. Crystal Battle Axe should be moved way down. Way down. I think it should be moved into C tier, just above the knife. And that is because in the Mistlands there was a slight change to swords. Actually, more than slight. One-handed swords, somehow Crom didn't get buffed with this. One-handed swords have cleave, the same property that battle axes do. They have no multi-target damage penalty, which means you can just shred through all sorts of enemies, and while the crystal battle axe and other battle axes have that enhanced hitbox over the one-handed swords, the speed, the movement speed penalty, all of this, it's very, very, very painful. While one-handed swords are very fast attacking, they're very fast moving, they have a very low move speed reduction. You can just adjust all of your unique battle axe strategies towards the sword in terms of just outright regular moveset, swinging and destroying. Oh man, is this good at destroying with the Sentinel Shack technique that I've developed. Oh man, it just shreds fullings, absolutely destroys them. One of my favorite techniques to use, it's so much fun. Basically just aggroes a bunch of regular fullings and draws them into a one of their own huts, where you just absolutely pop off with bone mass and shred them in melee, just spamming and using potions when you need to, but they all die within, like, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. It's absurd. It's so much fun, and it's just absolute neuron activating carnage. It's very good because it's fast and efficient, and you can just save bone mass for that moment. It's a fulling camp after all. They're not coming after you actively, and it's just super, super fun like that. It's so good. Iron Hat gear and Frostner, they're great. Yeah, this position is correct. Huntsman bow should be above Draugr. I know, controversy, uh-oh, huge controversy. Some of you might be wondering, why is it even in the S tier to begin with? How is this not outclassed even by the Finewood bow? Well, hidden properties. The Huntsman bow is the first perfectly accurate bow. The Finewood bow, even at full draw, has a minimum 1 degree spray, which means sniping over long distances, which you will do in the mountains, trying to snipe drakes, wolves, and in the plains, trying to snipe fullings and skeetos and maybe berserkers and shamans. The Finewood bow will miss a lot of your long-range shots over time, and I've definitely tested and noticed this out. Guaranteed. It's shown in the wiki. It's a pain in the ass playing in the game. Oh, I noticed that stuff, especially when you have high bow levels and you're really laying out the snipes fast. Oh, is that thing noticeable. Now, the Huntsman bow, perfectly accurate. I love that, but that's not the main draw, pun intended. The main draw of this weapon is the special aggro radius property on its arrows. See, every other bow has 8 meter aggro radius on its arrows. Pretty damn high. Huntsman bow only has 4 meters, and this means you can pick off a lot of targets that are clustered together relatively close. So your locks, for example, you have 3 locks grouped together. Normally you send out a snipe with your Draugr, and you're going to aggro 2 of them. You send out a snipe placed well with your Huntsman bow, you're going to just aggro 1 of them, and you can pick them off one by one. Super smooth like that. It's especially good in the fulling camps. So, fulling camps, yes, lovely fulling camps. All these berserkers and 2 stars and nasty targets and shamans that you want to get rid of, well, you can isolate them and pick them off one by one with the Huntsman bow. There's never a smoother fulling camp experience than picking off all of your dangerous targets with the Huntsman bow and then going in with your silver sword and Sentinel shacking. I love that so much. It is so good. Of course, bows are placed as high because of range and speed, DPS, They can build up the staggering with physical arrows, although those frost arrows with the slowdown and extra damage versus wet target is just obscenely powerful. It's just got everything. I mean, it's so good. It's so immensely strong. Now, of course, you got groups in melee, tough targets in melee. That's when you're going to have your Froster and your At gear. And all my placements there, they look great. But, of course, having all of these things here, the bows up top, it looks great. I would just put Battle Axe down, Silver Sword maybe up in the bottom of A tier, and then everything looks good. Alright. Now, moving on to the Black Metal Age. Again, same sort of thing. Huntsman Bow above Draugr Fang. Huntsman Bow. I'm going to talk about Grodes now. Grodes, they're another group enemy. They're sort of grouped up. If you snipe one with Draugr Fang, a lot of them are going to aggro. If you just snipe one with a fire arrow even, they're very weak to fire. If you get a sneak attack even with the Huntsman Bow, they're going to be one shot from the DOT. With an arrow as cheap as the fire arrow. Really, really good. I mean, it's just so convenient to just pick them off one by one. None of them aggro. I've gathered probably, I think it's 1,000 tar in one stream, over 1,000 tar, with just clearing out a ton of marked tar pits with my Huntsman Bow, just going around the giant plains and absolutely shredding them. At no point was I ever worried about groats in that instance. I was just taking them out. And not only that, I didn't have the root set on, which would have been a benefit for tar pits. I went Fenris Hood, Root Harness, Fenris Pants. Now, of course, Root Mask, Poison Res for the gross poison, and then the full root set boosts bows. I didn't even have any of that, and I still shred them with the Huntsman Bow. That's because the Huntsman Bow unique properties are just too good. Now, Draugr Fang does have better damage, which is better DPS, it's better staggering, it's better arrow efficiency, especially as that poison ticks down, you're going to get better arrow efficiency. Targets are going to die faster, and that's very good. The Draugr Fang still deserves to be an S tier. The Huntsman Bow utility is just too strong, and even extends into the Mistlands. Yes, you can pick off grouped Seekers one by one with a Frost Arrow, and that Frost Arrow will one-shot a Seeker from sneak attack, yes. And the Huntsman Bow will just demolish them. Now, of course, you gotta have good bow levels for that, but of course that's implied that you'll have good levels for any of this. Now, Huntsman Bow. In the Infested Mines, Frost Arrows. You have your wet pits of Seekers. They're wet, so they take 1.5 times frost damage. And you can pick apart 1-star, 2-star Seekers without other Seekers seeing you. Or you can isolate said 1-star, 2-star Seekers by picking off the regular ones. Easy, just snipe them, one shot, boom, done. Snipe them, one shot, boom, done. Get rid of the Wisp Light while you're in there, because it's going to increase your visibility, make you easier to spot by the Seekers. Yes, you also want to snipe any of the lanterns that are hanging, because they also increase visibility, allow you to do sneak strats even better. Excellent. And now that allows you to really play a stealth archer very well. I've also used a Huntsman Bow, confirmed, on video, one of my videos here. Maybe I'll link it in the description. I've used it in the Infested Mines to take out a bunch of ticks and Seekers in a large room to isolate a Seeker soldier, where I just went in with melee strats and demolished it from there. Isolating Seeker soldiers, or even if they're starred soldiers in an Infested Mine, that's just amazing, and the Huntsman Bow makes that happen. So Huntsman Bow, definitely top of S tier, I would say. Melee, this is all correct. Black Metal Age, I mean, we're going from Black Metal Plains Age with this gear into the early Mistlands, so I did just a little bit of Mistlands gear analysis there. All of this ordering is right. I think I said in the video that the Frostner and the Black Metal Acca are around the same tier. I just couldn't put them on, vertical with each other. That makes sense. That's perfect there. Crystal Battle Axe I would lower because, again, the Black Metal Sword has cleave just like Battle Axes do, but it's just much more convenient. Again, this is good placement. This is good placement. All of this is fine. Battle Axe I would put down with knives. Iron Sledge is going to be great against your ticks. It's going to be great in the Infested Mines with your barriers, because it can bonk through barriers with the AoE. This is all fantastic. This all looks great. Porcupine, man, I wish Porcupine. I actually want to move Porcupine up a little bit to C tier, just because it's better for going back and destroying golems. Yeah, it is technically better at killing golems, and that's good because, well, if you're a Lantern Fiend like I am, or if you're a Frost Arrow Fiend, which I feel like you should be, Frost Arrows are just so good, then you'll be going back to the mountains, you'll be encountering golems, you need Crystal for the Dagger Lanterns, my favorite decoration, and of course Freeze Glance for the Drakes. Now, the main thing is of course going to be the golems, and the Porcupine is more consistent for the golems. Yeah, it's just better against golems than the Iron Mace. Alright, last one, Mistlands Tearless. This is the one that I did recently, got a lot of good reception on this. Everything about this is fine. Everything looks great. Yeah, no, everything looks great here. I did have the Draugr technically outclassed by the Spine Snap. Yep, it is. I mean, it's just decent levels with bows. Even with 100 stamina, which isn't that much, it has been tested, confirmed, that the Spine Snap has better DPS than the Draugr. And why did I say the Draugr was still good? Because it had that damage increase over the Huntsman Fang. And if the Spine Snap just has more DPS, more damage than the Draugr Fang, and the Draugr Fang, that's all it had going for it, well, it's outclassed. Spine Snap is just better. And we're not even taking Spirit into account, because nothing in the Mistlands takes Spirit. Just the physical damage compared to the physical and poison of the Draugr Fang. The Spine Snap is just better. It's just more DPS. Now, everything at the bottom is good. At this point, I've recognized that battle axes were basically given the shaft because swords were buffed, one-handed at least, and then the axes and battle axes were not, which is a damn shame. But yeah, it's sad. We haven't had a fist weapon fist weapon example in the Mistlands or the Plains ever since. I really think Lightning Claws would have been fantastic. We didn't get it. They're just outclassed. Same thing with the Jotunbane. It's poison. It's an axe. Poison doesn't stack bit to bit. If you have a poison arrow and poison bow, those will stack, but hit to hit, the ticks won't stack. Confirmed. It's just an illusion. If you see it rising, you've RNG procced a higher tick from the 1, and it won't track hit to hit, which means when you're hitting fast or sniping fast, you're losing so much DPS with the just shredding of DOT. I mean, you're losing 50 to 75% or even more, depending on how ludicrously high your bow levels are, of the DOT from poison. You're just losing all of that when you're hitting fast repeatedly. So poison arrows, they look good. Aesthetically, they look amazing. The tick value, Seekers don't resist it. They resist physical. But just use Frost. Just use Frost arrows. They slow the targets down. They have the same damage value as poison. It's all up front. You don't have to wait for the tick to appear. Of course, Frost, not being a DOT, it won't override hit to hit. It'll just be all upfront damage, all destruction, slows targets down, 1.5 times damage to wet targets. It's just very good. Not resisted by Seekers also. Top of the list, this looks great. This looks fine. S tier, everything could switch around depending on how the Ashlands goes. Everything looks great here. All of this stuff here has a lot of utility. There are some aspects to it that are still a little bit sad, but the great niche utility is there, even with the Dead Razor, the very meh Dead Razor, with the janky-ass AI skeletons. Oh yes, still has niche utility. Very good in Infested Mines, very good in the Queen fight. I assume when we have better terrain to work with in the Ashlands, it's going to be even better. Of course, fully upgraded, we'll have 4 skeletons, and that'll be very, very nice. But at the moment, it's just got some utility and it's kind of sad. Everything here looks great. Yeah, everything here is fantastic. All right. Thank you for watching. I've had a lot of really good reception to my tier list videos. The main complaints has just been A lot of the speaking style for the past ones has been super drawn out. But a lot of the information and the placements were extremely well received, and the majority of people really appreciated my videos. Thank you so much. And when the Black Metal and Mistlands tier lists appeared, I got people really excited in my comments saying, oh, I watched all the other videos. And oh man, that made me feel great. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will keep you guys in the know for weapon analysis and deep niche theory and mechanical rankings for the future. Of course, I'm going to be doing Ashland's tier lists. And oh man, thank you so much. I will see you guys some other time. Bye.